category section. So don't wait. Advertise your business today on www.iwingmarketplace.com and increase your chances of being found by potential customers.
Hello. Welcome to Good evening, everyone. My name is Alain Pierre, and welcome to Afrique Today show, where we bring you a helpful resource and information on what is happening in our area and around the world. The Afrique Today TV show stream live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our website www.afriquetoday.com. Of course, download Afrique Today app and you will be able to watch Afrique Today directly to your smart TV. Afrique Today is available for Roku TV and Amazon Fire Stick. Our host today is Dr. Manka, and she will host the show today. Over to you, Dr. Manka.
Thank you very much, Alan. Good evening and welcome to this edition of virtual discussions that are brought to you by Immigrant Community Services. In these discussions, we bring you critical resources and information as our community deals with the COVID-19 pandemic. As Alan said, my name is Manka Nkileng, and I am honored to be your moderator this evening. I would like to warmly welcome our special guest this evening. We have Ms. Ajay C, Ms. Elena Bakasara, Ms. Maimuna Maro, Ms. Paulette Puma, Ms. Amai Shinodafuka. So our series today has 3 segments where we begin with recognizing this week's heroes, the Fulani Women Association North America, who are leading the way and supporting our community. Then we'll hear from Elena Bakasare, a parent who together with her husband are juggling work and homeschooling of their children. And then Paulette Puma, a creator of the African Memory Game, and Amai Shinodafuka, an educator and a working. We'll be taking questions today at the end of some of this segment, so please feel free to send in your questions via our Facebook or text them to 573931339. I will be answering them as we go through the segment. And so we're going to start by recognizing this week's heroes. So we're so happy to have Ms. Agasi here, president of the Fulani Women Association North America, FUWANA. The Fulani Women North America are this week's heroes. FUWANA is a registered nonprofit, and its members are women who share the Fulani culture. The Fulani are found in many parts of Africa, and this group has members originating from Guinea, Mali, Mauritania, Senegal, and Sierra Leone. FUWANA have projects in America as well as projects back on the continent in Africa. So thank you so much, Ms. C, for joining us today. Ms. C, can you tell us a little bit about how FUWANA came into existence?
Good evening, all. My name is Ajasi. Thank you for having me. I'm the president of Fulani Women Association of North America, FUWANA. So in the beginning, FUWANA, there was a few African sisters who got together and founded FUWANA, and to promote sisterhood and to help our sisters back home in Africa. And we do that by financing small projects that will impact children and women. So our foundation, our organization is funded by African sisters from different countries. We have Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Gambia, Burkina Faso, and we welcome any other sisters who share FUWANA's ID. You are all welcome to join us.
Well, thank you so much for letting us know a little bit more about FUWANA. Tell us a little bit about this mask project and what led to it.
Actually, we all know that this pandemic is affecting everyone's life, and what led me to it is that I received a couple of weeks ago a flyer regarding the grab food banks, so that I share within our community and my organization. So then we decided that we would like to join them in help our communities. So we contacted Harriet Shankare, who was part of it, who sent me the flyer. So we asked her, what can we do to help our community? So they have this project of making masks and donating more goods to our communities. So then we decided to make a mask with our African fabrics. So our sisters have donated a lot of African fabrics, print, 100% cotton fabric. So we decided to make 300 masks to donate to the community as well, because just educating people with hand washing and social distancing is good, but also is it's good to contribute in donating masks and supplies for the PPE. Yeah.
Thank you. So you guys are making this mask with African fabric. I love African fabrics.
Yes. Thank you.
So who are you working with to ensure that the masks are getting to the people who need them?
We're working with the Montgomery County with this program called Grab and Go food, that drive that we've been doing throughout, for the past few weeks. And so we decided that this is what we needed, because we wanted to contribute to the county, help our community, Montgomery County community, because they've been there for us. They help us, our fundraisers. Every time we have activities, they will get involved. So we feel like we wanted to give back to the county, to the community, and help. So we and Grab and Go was doing exactly what we wanted to do. So we contacted them, Grab and Go, and the African Affair also as well, and of course Afric TV. So we are all working together in this to help our community.
So it's really a community effort, but you guys are leading.
Yes.
How can our viewers and other members of the community donate to your cause?
Sorry, can you say it again?
How can our viewers and other members of the community donate to your cause?
Actually, they can donate. They can go on our website, fuana.org. They can shoot us an email also, fuana@gmail.com. They can contact me. They can contact any members. We have a Facebook page as well. If they want to donate fabrics, any financial donation also is good. So that's how they can donate. Go to our website, it's the quickest way, and Facebook.
You and your association and your members are such an inspiration to us, everybody doing their part to help. So we're so thankful for all that you're doing. And what message do you have for our viewers before you go?
The message I have to do is that just we are all in this together. This pandemic affects us all. We should support each other. We should help each other anyway. Any kind of contribution is welcome. We are all in this together. Just help each other and stay strong and do what we can. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sai and the Fulani Women Association of North America, for doing your part to help our community during this time. You all are inspiration to us, so we thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you.
And we're now going to move on to our next segment this evening, which is keeping children engaged during this lockdown. I will be talking to Ms. Elena Bakasara, a working mother who, together with her husband, are juggling work and homeschooling of their children. And we'll also speak to Ms. Maimouna Mara, who's a developmental therapist. She is currently contracted as a private provider here in Montgomery County with the Infants and Toddlers Program, as well as in DC with the DC Strong Start Early Intervention Program. She's the founder of Sarah Educare Services LLC, and many of you know her as the book lady, founder of Tutu Storybooks, the Diversified School Book Fair Service. She has over 20 years of experience working in the field of education, homeschools her children, and works with clients in her community. So thank you so much, Elena Maimouna, for joining us. We'll start with you, Elena.
You're welcome. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. So we know that many parents are working, many parents and children are adjusting to this new reality of working and learning from home. So how many children do you have, and how has your life changed kind of adjusting to this new normal?
So we have 4 children, ranging from 14 down to 6 months. And Yeah. Can imagine it's a bit challenging at times, but we get it done. Um, so working from home and being a parent is very challenging, as most of you, I'm sure, already know. When you work from home, it's already has its challenges on its own, but being a mother, being a father, being a chef, being a teacher, being all of the above, and most of all, being a parent, all difficult to put it into one package. So, basically, sometimes I wonder how we get it done, but we, we do get it done. Um, I think it all boils down to basically just being organized as much as you possibly can. Um, you have to have a schedule, some kind of schedule. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this extravagant schedule, but you have to have some sort of schedule to know what the kids are going to do and what you're going to do when breakfast, lunch, and dinner is going to be. Um, Basically, be organized. You have to have a meal plan because trying to figure out what you're going to cook in between teaching the children is not going to leave you with much time for the rest of the day. So, and also at the end of the day, when everything is over, you have to have the children help you clean up, basically, clean up after themselves to get prepared for the following day.
Okay, so having a schedule and having some structure and planning.
Awesome. A lot of structure, yes.
What is the day like in your house since the lockdown began?
I'm sorry, you broke up. Can you repeat that, please?
Sure, I was asking what a typical day in your household looks like since the lockdown began.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, basically, I will wake the children up. We wake up at around 8 o'clock, not too early because classes start around 10. Um, so I'll wake up the children around 8 and we will eat breakfast around 9. Um, while I'm making breakfast, I will have the children prepare their workstations to get everything ready for class, set up their computers for class, Zoom. They have class on Zoom, which is also an adjustment for them because they're, of course, used to having their teacher in their face as opposed to on the computer. So there's a lot for them as well. You have to have a lot of patience. Um, their class starts at 10 o'clock. From that point, I basically work right next to them. So if they have any questions, they can just kind of turn around and ask me the questions. I'm not too far away from them. And that's just in case they need help with anything. When class is done, I'll do homework with them and start on lunch while they're doing their homework. When they're finished their class homework, to keep them busy, I will give them additional work. so so that I can finish my job. And basically that's it. Right after I finish working, then I start on dinner. And of course, I have my beautiful mother here to help and my wonderful husband. So I am blessed.
That's nice. Structure, schedules, and giving the kids a little bit of homework.
Yes.
Okay.
The homework.
How well did you understand the amount of work that was involved before this lockdown started?
Before the lockdown?
Yeah.
So the work was, I think it depends on the teacher and what type of work they give. The work was pretty easy, I think, for the most part. After the lockdown, it's not so easy. Not so easy. Basically, the lockdown put a lot of extra steps to completing work assignments. Just trying to figure out the classrooms, the online classrooms itself was very challenging. Also, if the teachers the teachers were having a lot of issues with it as well. So everybody was, everything was up in arms basically. Also, very few students are in the classroom because a lot of them don't have, they did not have accessibility to the classrooms, to the Chromebooks that were handed out. They don't have internet. So there's a lot of challenges that come with school, working from home and schooling from home.
So, did you feel adequately prepared to engage in all of that work, or you've been learning as you go along?
Learning one day at a time. For the most part, I think it's just like anything else. You have to go, learn as you go. But it was a bit difficult. I think it took a lot of common sense because the teachers, some of them didn't explain properly. There's a lot of, it's a lot of confusion. But just patience and a little common sense.
Si tu as Facebook?
Ah oui, j'ai Facebook.
Ah, mais si tu cliques le lien, ça va t'amener directement à Facebook Live. Le lien Facebook, il y a deux liens.
Sorry, some back.
Ah bon, sinon.
So, can you share, I guess, do you have any unique experiences?
I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't hear what you said.
I was asking if you had any unique experiences of helping your children with their assigned homework that you could share with our viewers.
Unique experiences, not necessarily. I would say there have been a couple of nights while I'm trying to figure everything out. There have been a couple of nights, literally nights, where I'm trying to juggle my job along with the turning in the assignments, especially with the classes. You're trying to figure everything out, trying to figure out how to turn in the assignments. That's another challenge of its own because not everyone is able to scan. Thankfully, I scanned my work. I uploaded a scanner to my cell phone for my job. So I had that and I was able to scan the homework in. So it's very difficult, but for the most part, we were able to get it done. The good thing is one of my children, my oldest daughter, she became an A student from home, working from home. Everything is being done right in front of us, so I don't think she had much of a choice.
And so, speaking a little bit about the work, so it seems like all of the homework has to be scanned and sent in. Is that the typical procedure? And
so, some of it is you have the capability of doing it within, but it's not, doing it within the app, but there are a few that they send you that are in PDF format and you can't do anything. You either have to have them, I just have a composition book for them to write the homework in, and I scan it and then upload it. Yeah.
Very interesting for some of our parents to know that these are the strategies that you're using. Okay.
Yes.
I know you also mentioned that there are times that you're helping with submitting homework late into the night or trying to finish up your work late into the night. I know at some point you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
So how are you doing that, or what are some things that you're doing for self-care that you can share with us and our viewers?
Well, you have to take the time to do it. If you don't, then you're just going to be looking crazy all the time. I won't lie, there are some days I do look crazy, but you have to get up and you have to force. Every day you have to still push and get certain things done. You still have to wake up and brush your teeth in the morning. Still have to wake up and shower or you have to find a time in the day to shower. Um, there, it's just, you just have to do it, basically. Whenever you get a chance to stick it in there, you have to. Whenever you have find a moment to get something done for yourself, and mostly weekends, if that's kind of my time. I take the weekends for myself. Because we as mothers and as parents, we as fathers, we have to rejuvenate as well. We need time for ourselves. After work is done, sometimes we'll just sit back and just relax and watch TV. We have to take some time for ourselves. It's very important, or we won't have the energy to continue with the children.
Parents need to take the time to listen. Thank you so much, Elena.
You're very welcome.
Now we're going to turn to you, Ms. Maimuna. Based on your experience and practice, what are some key factors that can contribute to your parents' success as a pandemic homeschool teacher now?
I know, right? A pandemic homeschool teacher, because that's something where parents were kind of thrust into, right, overnight, and that's a big job. And Elena kind of touched on some great factors where a schedule, a routine is so important, and to get that together in like a weekend, I really commend parents for doing that, because it takes a lot of transition and a lot of time to get that together. So what I tell some of my families is, if you're having trouble getting that routine together, kind of wean them into routine. So start on Monday, just having one expectation of them. And when they succeed in that, try 2 expectations the next day. So there needs to be a transition process from a school schedule to a homeschool schedule. And I know it's hard, but give yourself some time. Parents, be patient with yourselves, because we kind of had a high expectation, like, we're going to be the teacher now come Monday. And it's like, we have to get to know our daytime children, because we haven't seen our daytime children in a long time. So getting to know them and setting that routine together is very important. Also, you touched on self-care. Oh my gosh, self-care is so important. As you know, just even without homeschooling. So for parents that don't have time, it's just kind of waking up in the morning and having a moment of gratitude. What are you thankful for in that moment, right? Setting a plan in place or an intention for your day. What do I want to improve on today with my children? Maybe I want to listen more, right? So you're grateful for something, and you have a plan for the day to improve. That kind of grounds you in the day, and that kind of helps with your success through the day. Some other things, have fun. If it's getting too much, and I'm telling you, I used to be a classroom teacher. Sometimes the class, you just got to stop, whoa, turn the lights out, everybody breathe, and, do a fun clap game or sing a fun song. Get light with it sometimes, And another thing Elena said was very good. Teachers use it as well as proximity. Working close to your students really helps when they need assistance, because not all kids are going to say, hey, I'm really struggling, I need help. Maybe if somebody's close near them, they can you can tell. You can read it on their body language or their face, like, are you okay? Do you understand what the teacher's saying? And that really helps them. Elena's shaking her head. Proximity is helpful. I mean, some of this stuff happens organically, and I think if parents had maybe a transition period, it was kind of just like, boom, Monday, homeschool. Yeah. I think with a transition where kids could have some fun and we can kind of get acclimated to the day, I think the transition would have been so much less stressful. But here we are, and it's official today, right? Maryland is going to be closed throughout the school year. So we're going to be homeschooling till summer. So I know we can hang in there if we just keep it light, have fun, pay attention to how you feel as well as a homeschool parent. If it's too much for you, take a break. It is okay. Even teachers in the classroom do it. Just take a breather. Just be like, we need to take a minute. You know what I mean? Do some fun Nerf games in the house. Just have some fun and then come back to the work. That's okay. So those are some factors that definitely help with success in homeschooling.
And so for some of those factors, like developing a schedule and slowly building up. Is it too late? Parents who have not started something like that, or can they start now?
It is never too late to readjust. And like I said, even classroom teachers do it. If something's not working, you are free to change it because you're going to learn things about your kids along the way. So if you're learning this is not working or at this time they're not, open to learning these things, change it. If they're not morning people, do some more responsibilities in the afternoon. So even throughout the year, even teachers, we change the schedule. So it's okay for homeschool parents to also see that, you know what, this schedule, even if you have a great schedule starting now, you're like, yeah, we got this, it's going great. You know what, it can go left. You know what I mean? Things happen. So, and when starting out, kids were really going through a lot of stress. Parents were going through a lot of stress. And maybe that's coming down a little bit. And so you can maybe add some more responsibilities. But you got to kind of be on your feet and pay attention to what the kids are doing, how you're feeling. And it's a synergistic thing. You know what I mean? Everybody works off each other's energy. So just pay attention to how you're feeling. If you're feeling tired a particular day, slow it down. You know what I mean? Maybe have fewer responsibilities because then you have less to supervise. So it's always paying attention and feeling out, being honest with yourself, how you feel, and checking in with your kids. Are you guys okay? Are you following? How are you feeling today? So it's really it's a group effort and it's a lot of observation and paying attention. But yeah, you can change up whenever it's needed.
Okay. Pay attention to serve your child and then change it up as you see things changing.
Exactly.
Okay. So how can families work to motivate reluctant children who might choose to not fully engage or who may seem unmotivated with their lessons now?
Yes. So I get that a question a lot because I'm still doing virtual home visits, and so parents are really like their kids are just not like, I give up, I don't want to do this because you got to scan in the word, you got to find the word, it's just a lot to deal with. Mm-hmm. And it's mainly about first creating that safe environment for the kids. When we started out, like I said, it was very stressful, and when children are stressed, they retain less because they go into that survival mode. And so creating an environment that, like I said, if we had a transition where they can just have fun for a day or two, you know what I mean? Where they can just have fun with their families, get acclimated to the home schedules and things like that, that would have been helpful. I had some notes here. Some one-on-one time is important. Because of all that's going on, sometimes, especially having multiple kids, sometimes they get lost in the shuffle. I know as a middle child, sometimes you get lost in the shuffle. But just having, and me loving books so much and loving the power of books, having just a story time, just with, you know what I mean, with each of them. Just having some time where you can just sit with them and read a story with them, find out where they are, how they're feeling, because some books can help them open up about how they're feeling with certain things. Maybe a class is too difficult. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's something physiological. Maybe they're still experiencing some of that stress. But having that story time, that one-on-one time, you can kind of check in to figure out why they aren't interested in the subject, why they are reluctant. Some other things, using different manipulatives. So if it's something that they're not into, maybe based on their learning styles, they need to work with something with their hands versus just paper and pencil. Maybe if it's fractions, you guys can work with pizzas or something where it's tangible and they can see it versus just pencil and paper. That's another reason why some kids get reluctant. Let's see what other things. I mean, it's based. All children are so different, but it's important to kind of pay attention to the why. In developmental therapy, called the function. Like, why are they reluctant? That's the most important question, because a lot of times parents tend to take it personally, like they're just trying to challenge me, and oftentimes it's probably something underlying that we need to get to and touch and meet those needs, and that's definitely helpful for them. I mean, this is new. This is all new, and for us, we always see that the child is trying their best, We just need to figure out what supports they need. So we're looking at physiological needs. They need more breaks? Is it too much? Is it too stressful? Do they understand the material? Do they need other support that they can work with their hands? Are they hungry? Are they tired? I mean, just basic needs really impact their learning. So trying to meet all those needs first and making them feel safe and safe to make mistakes. And that's something that a lot of parents, myself included, have a problem with, because we're like, you've practiced this in the Zoom or at school, and now it's time to get the work done. And it's like, just be like, okay, that's okay if you got that wrong. What did we learn from that? How can we improve that? And not kind of get like, what do you mean you don't know how to do that? You know what I mean? Like, be parents. But letting them make mistakes, because, again, that opens them up and makes them more. So it's providing those supports can really help with reluctance. And, again, having breaks and having fun. Fun has to be part of the learning day. It has to, especially K through 5, they have to have some fun, or they're not going to buy into it. You know what I mean? You have to sell them. Like, learning is fun. That's our job as a teacher. We have to keep reiterating that by showing them that this is fun and it's necessary. So again, if you need to take breaks, if you need to do a quick game, embed games in the day. Say a joke. Just say a silly joke. And when they laugh, you can see how they shift back into their work with a smile on their face. It's really helpful.
So really helping motivation is actually figuring out the root cause of why they're reluctant or not motivated, which could be physiological or just it's not fun for them.
Yes.
So I guess for parents who are at home, what are other activities that you recommend for children and families during this current stay at home?
So it's interesting what we've been doing a lot of. Because we can't go out, you can still travel. You can travel inward, right? So a lot of times parents, we always talk about, where's the character development in school? That's something that's lacking, but that's something that we can actually do here at home. We can teach them how to learn more about themselves. And so I have this little thing my boys have been working on, and you guys can see this, but it's so cool. It's called The Magic of Me, right? It's a great character building book for like K through 5 that asks them about what things they're good at. It's by Becky Cummings. What things they're good at, what they're interested in. You can really get to know your child, and they can get to know themselves too. Like, what makes them special? What's magic about them? What can they contribute? Those are things they don't really touch on too much in school, and it'll be so much more meaningful if it's done with the family. And the great thing about it, it comes with a little workbook. So on those downtimes when they're done their work, you can give them some of these where they can build up the character, learn about themselves, and it's reflection time. You know what I mean? Since you can't go out, you can still learn about it's a perfect time for self-reflection. So I think kids can do it too. And parents can answer some of these questions as well so they can learn about you. And them learning about you creates that safe space as well. So you're kind of feeding two birds with the same feeder. Some other activities, read aloud. Of course, I have to I have to promote reading, but my boys are 7 and 10. We still do nighttime readings. I mean, they are avid readers. But it's very different when it's a family thing. It's a bonding exercise because they learn the value of it all. They're like, oh, this is something fun. This is something that is part of my family. And I have some great recommendations. If you have some, this is good for like maybe third through 8th grade. It's called Tristan Strong. It's by Kwame Mbalia. And it is like an action book for kids about African mythology, right? It is so exciting. It reads like a movie. It is so much fun. Like each chapter, I'm like, I gotta take a breath. That was a lot that just happened. So it is so fun to have these times where you can read with your kids, right? Have game nights. Get to know them. When are we gonna get this time back, right? To really spend this much time to get to know our kids. So reading is great. And like I said, the things in these books will keep them engaged, but you can also learn, ask questions. What do you think about this character? Was that right or wrong? So you can start to see, learn about their values and morals. So it's great to get to know kids with that. And then for younger kids, I had this great series called the Anna and Andrew series. It's a local author, Christine Platt, and one of my favorite is Anna and Andrew Go to Ghana. So it's a whole series of 8 books. It's really fun. This is like a picture short early chapter read for the younger kids, maybe K through 3rd grade. So again, use stories, game nights, have fun, get to know them. And you know what? It doesn't have to be like a negative thing, COVID. You know what I mean? It can really be a great opportunity for family time, you know? I know it can be stressful. We have our days, yes. But kids, they are wonderful. When we really take time to get to know them, we can make this a positive experience.
Reading, spending time with them. Good. So now we'll take a couple of questions from the audience. I see this one for you, Elena. And the question is, what is one thing you're doing that is working that you can advise somebody to try?
Let me see. The two, I'll give you 2. Well, the first one I already mentioned, be organized. And the second one is the meal plan. You have to have a meal plan because, like I said, in between, you need to be able to do something quickly. You have to have an imagination with your food. Especially if you have picky children. You have to have an imagination. Think on your toes on what meal they're going to be eating, and try something new. Whatever you have not tried before. If you love to bake, even if you don't like to bake, try it. You might start to like it. You might find a new hobby. But yes, baking is something that I recently started doing a lot more of, and it's therapeutic. It's fun. The kids can pitch in. Yeah, baking.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And this one is for you, Ms. Maimuna.
Yeah.
I am not good at technology. How do I help my child learn online? That's the question.
So I'm assuming that there are some guidelines for MCTS, or the teachers send out some guidelines for the platforms that they're using, and things like that. I'm not good at technology either. Like, honestly, this is my first time even on Skype. Like, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to these things. In the last 30 days, I've been on every platform, and I've never been on these before. Listen, it's fun, all right? It's okay if you get on, make mistakes. And that's even how kids learn video games and things like that, because no one's pushing them to learn it. It's just something they can play on, make mistakes, and learn from their mistakes. Just have some time. Just have some time where you put aside where you can, like, do trial and error with online and see how far you can go. But I do believe for the assignments and things, they should give you all like criteria and guidelines on how to work with those platforms. But outside of that, just try different apps and things like that. And it's okay if you get it wrong. It's okay if you make mistakes with it. Just have some exposure. Just continue to expose them to it. Praise them when they get something done. If you yourself are working.
Okay, that's great. We had another quick question come in asking for Maimuna. What books are good for first graders?
First graders, the Anna and Andrew series works very well. What's another good series? If you look up Sadiq, the Sadiq series are very popular these days with first through third graders. Try to just look up some early chapter readers. I'm just mentioning some of the newer ones. There are tons out there, but because they're starting to get into reading, series are very helpful because it keeps the longevity of reading, so they can continue throughout versus just choose one book. Because when it's a really big book, they're kind of like, I can't read that. But when it's kind of broken up into a series or chunks, they're more likely to stay with it.
Good. Thank you so much, Elena and Maimon, sharing your experiences with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, so thank you.
Love being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to Ms. Paulette.
Hello.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, and you?
Great, great. So we've heard from Ms. Maimona that activities are very helpful in getting children to focus on preventing burnout. And with us today again is Ms. Paulette, the creator of African Memory Care. So can you tell our viewers what the game is about?
Oh, sure. I have just a copy here. I can show like that. So it's a board game. It's like a race of knowledge on the continent. So you have 100 questions of history, geography, culture on Africa. So it's the best time now to discover with the family what is how Africa looked like, if you want. So I created this game like 10 years ago, but I keep updating because there's many things that are changing every time.
So it's like a puzzle game?
It's not a puzzle, because a puzzle, you put the piece together. Okay. It's a board game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 100 questions of history, geography, culture. So you play, you put the board flat, and then you have pound, and you do a competition. So she has 4 children. That is great, because when you are 4, each one will take just one color. So when you step in a territory, you will be asked a question. If you know the answer, you fine. You don't know the answer, you pay for lack of knowledge. And the game goes on like that. Yes, it helps you to increase your knowledge, but it's helping also parents and children to connect, because some of our children are like the first generation of American. So they are learning through the game to connect also with the motherland.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying, yeah.
Okay.
So it seems like this is something that would be perfect for right now. So how can parents use this game in their homeschooling of their children now that everything is happening at home?
I think even before the pandemic, the game was used already in school, like at home. Mm-hmm. So when they have, and I keep kind of, he put the picture there. I keep kind of, I try to do a balance between the history, the geography, the culture, and also some fun facts on Africa. So when it's more interest, actually, you can go on Google and try to show how Africa look like, because you know that we have that gap of education in our system where parents don't, not parents, but the children don't really know how the motherland look like. So it kind of helping to bridge the children to the motherland. Mm-hmm.
History, geography, and culture. That's a lot of information. It's really great, yeah. So how can people have access to the games? Where do we get the games right now?
I sell the game online. It's the africanmemorygame.com. But you have the Sankofa Museum also in Baltimore who's selling the game. There's some store in DC selling also the game. It was sold by the Smithsonian Museum store also. So it's different place, but online you can always find the game.
Mm-hmm. What's your website again?
The africanmemorygame.com. africanmemorygame.com. But I want also to add another website, because I'm the promoter of and the founder of Teaching Africa Day. and we have Teaching Africa Day the 12th of September 2020. And it's a free event for all children where you can learn about all material, books, video, games like mine, and much more about Africa. And it's targeting the youth. So from baby to like, I don't know, 25. Sometimes we end up dancing even more than the children in that event. So it's a free event coming, and you can go to the website teachingafricaday.com and find more resources that you can download, like lesson plan and different things that you can use for the parents that are homeschooling now.
The AfricaMemoryGame.com and then TeachingAfrica.com to get resources for you parents out there to help with homeschooling. Thank you so much, Ms. Colette, for telling us about the game and telling us about more resources that we can use, especially now. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, everyone, we're going to move on to Ms. Amai Chinodafuka. Ms. Amai is a mother of 3, a 14-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and an 11-year-old girl. She has been an educator all her life, having been the oldest in a family of 5 and having many cousins. She's taught high school in Zimbabwe for 5 years and middle school in the US for 8 years. So Ms. Amai is known in the Zimbabwean community for her Ziva Kwawakaba, a group of parents helping each other with ideas on how to raise Zimbabwean children away from home but still connected to their Zimbabwean heritage. So thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Amai.
Hello. My name is Amai Chinodakufa, Sibongile Chinodakufa, and I'm happy to be here to talk mainly about Ziva Kwawakaba, which is a platform we created with a few friends of mine. We created a platform for Zimbabwean children, for us parents to encourage each other to raise our children with the Zimbabwean heritage in them. Even though they are not growing up in Zimbabwe, they may never go back to live in Zimbabwe, but they have Zimbabwean blood running in their veins. So we want our children to always know and always stay connected to who we are, because it's very important to us. So yes, I'm a mother of 3 and a 14-year-old boy and 2 girls, 13 and 11.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Sorry?
We're having an echo, that's why I was just trying to get it clear.
Is it from me?
I am not too sure. So I was asking about the CIVA program. It sounded very interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about what it is, what it entails?
So Ziva Kwawakaba is so we started last year with just parents from all over the United States coming together. We planned to meet in Maryland around DC area because it was more central. We had around 50 children coming together, and we had an event that ran over 2 days. Zimbabwean children just coming together and having like a big slumber party where they were learning about who we are, playing Zimbabwean music, and we were teaching them our Zimbabwean African dancing. Just being together is the first thing we want to do, to have them come together and realize that we are growing up in America. We may not be all the same, but we have something in common. When we come together as Zimbabwean children, that is something common that we have. Because the problem we are having with our children growing up here is they will never be 100% Zimbabwean, because when they go back to Zimbabwe, they will speak our language with an accent. And when they are there, they are being laughed at, oh, ha, 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 or say one more thing, and the Zimbabwean children that grow up in Zimbabwe laugh at them. And when they are here, they know they are not, even when you've been here for 100 years, you are still called by where you originate from. You are African, even African American. So as Zimbabwean Americans that are growing up here, they have one thing that they have in common, that when they speak, even when they speak Shona with an accent, everybody has an accent there. So they are a new breed and a new group of Zimbabweans that we are raising. They are different from their parents because I speak fluent Shona and I go to Zimbabwe and I totally fit in. And when they go to Zimbabwe, they don't totally fit in. And when they come here, they don't totally fit in. So they have their own group, which is what we are creating for them. We are creating that group where they feel comfortable, where they know they may be Americans, but they are Zimbabweans first.
Okay. Very interesting cultural heritage program. So we know that you're also an educator. So how prepared were you for the transition to homeschooling?
No one was prepared for this. I know everybody else has said the same thing. No one was prepared for it, but we make the best out of every situation. And the good thing with my children, they are a little older, so they are 13. He's 14, and they're 13 and 11, so they understand. You can actually sit down with them and explain, okay, this is what it is. We may not know what will happen tomorrow, but this is the situation. Today, we need to do 1, 2, 3. I really liked all the parents here that talked about routine. It's very, very important. Just giving them, this is what we need done. And I'm going to also add one more thing that others haven't talked about here, like rewards and penalties. Okay, these are the expectations that we have for you today. Your homework needs to be done. All the assignments need to be sent in. And then you can have 2 hours on your phone. They love screen time. So whereas we are using screens for school now, we can also give it as a reward. Okay, if you finish your work and everything is handed in, and if you get this amount, if you are strict on what they get, okay, I want to make sure you have done your work well. And when your teacher says you have done well, and I see you get an A, okay, you have 4 hours on your PlayStation. They love that. So rewards and penalties. What happens if you don't do that? When you don't do what you're supposed to do, then there's a penalty. Because it's also in our culture, we want to teach our children that hard work actually does pay. So when you work hard, you get a reward. When you don't work hard, there is a penalty. So it's very important even to introduce to our children at a very young age that this is life, and this is a life skill that you need to be carrying with you throughout your life.
Rewards and penalties. Thank you. So how do you, other than rewards and penalties, how do you keep your children engaged in schoolwork? I know we've heard from Elena and other parents about different strategies.
Yes, so my kids are older. They love their screen time. So even now we control everything that happens. We control everything. Like we control their phones, we control the TV. We do control the TV. The TV is not just running all day. Wake up in the morning, turn it on, and until 11 o'clock. No, we control the TV. We control the phones. We control the PlayStations. And these children, they love their screen time. So when we say, okay, this is what you need to do. When you are done, you will watch TV. Or we need you to go outside. That's another thing that we need to do. Our children cannot just work and work and work and work. Like I know somebody talked about it, that you can change the schedule. Right now they need to log in. Then after they log in, you can say, okay, you do 30 minutes of your work, finish this, 1, 2, 3, go outside, run around. And when you do all those things, this is what you are going to get at the end of the day. So my children do well with the screen, or we say, oh, I give them a reward. When you do something, we can go to Dunkin' Donuts. We get something sweet. Or when you do this, I'm even doing with the Zivakwa Waka Batu, we are it's a group, and we keep encouraging each other. So we actually have a group right now. We have a contest going on. We are going to have the children talk about their family. We are teaching children how important the family unit is in our culture, and they are going to talk about the family in our language. And how do we motivate them? How do we keep them going? I actually say, you know what? When you do 1, 2, 3, I'll give you $5, and that $5 does a lot. You have no idea. I am not going to get rich with that $5, but to this child who is stuck at home, that $5 means so much. So I do use money to motivate them, and they love to save their money and buy their own whatever they want at their own will.
Great. So a lot of positive and reinforcement is what you're using. Okay. So speaking about you as a parent and educator and as a person, how have you adapted to now the working from home and social distancing that is happening?
I'm a very social person. I love to go out. I love to talk to people. So, and this affected me so much because it's hard for me to be inside. And school is also a social event for the children. So, it was one day you are going to school, you are talking to your friends, you are playing with your friends, you touch, you hold, you hug, and one day it's not there anymore. So I am really working hard with my children. When they finish what they need to finish, I give them time they FaceTime with their friends. We want to keep that social aspect. We don't want to socially distance and then they don't talk to their friends. So I encourage them to make phone calls to their friends, to talk to their friends on FaceTime. They love to Snapchat, and I've gotten a little looser about those things so that they can also still socialize, because I don't want them to be closed in into this cave and then they are not socializing out there. We have we create, even with Zivakwa Kava, we used to do online lessons only once a month, but now we've been doing game nights where we have the kids come together on Zoom. We play games together. We give them some challenges. We've been doing more lessons than one per month, just to keep them together and have them socializing and doing games.
Good. So while they're physical distancing, you're really trying to get them connected, or you all are trying to get connected socially to your environment and to your friends.
Yes. With our neighbors, we do game nights with the neighbors. We do game nights with the schoolmates. We are still trying to keep them connected to their friends.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Amaisivo. So we will now transition to questions from our audience, and let me see, the questions are coming in. I guess I would direct this one to the educators online right now. How can I tell that my child is not understanding what they're trying to learn?
Oh, I can chime in. So assessing understanding, based on age, sometimes just observation, sometimes just checking in, seeing how they look. Some children, their reactions are visceral. You'll see it on their face. They'll get weepy-eyed, or they kind of just check out. I think it's trying to figure out what about it is difficult. Is it the level of the work? Is it just a piece of it that they maybe didn't hear? Or but it's really just communication, opening up the lines of communication, staying close, and asking them, what do you like? Always start with the positive. Like, what did you like about what you learned today? So, you're giving them the opportunity to say, like, there were positive parts about it. And they were like, what were some things you might have found challenging? So let them know it's okay to have that balance. There might be some things that you're good at, some things that are more challenging. But opening up those lines of communication maybe having that as part of your wrap up at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. Like, what are you looking forward to learning more about, or what are you thinking you're going to have the most challenge with? But even checking in before it happens may help buffer some of that.
Great, thanks. Does anyone else wants to chime in?
What was the question?
So the question was asking, how can I tell that my child is not really understanding what they're learning?
How can I tell that they are not understanding it?
Yes. That they're not getting it, yes.
Oh, so there's a reason for you to think that the child is not understanding it?
That was what the parent was thinking. It's just trying to gauge when they're learning. How can you know that this material that you're trying to learn is not, you're not digesting it, yeah.
Oh, one other thing that I usually do in the classroom is just to have the child teach it back to me. Okay, so what did you learn today? So can you show me what you learned? What did you understand? You teach me. I am your student. You tell me what you learned from this topic, from whatever section that they are learning from. So teach it back to me. Then you can understand that someone has understood it or not.
All right, so assessing it, as Maimuna said, you know, what went well, what didn't go well, and then having the child also teach it back to you. Good, thank you, guys. Our next question is, what family activities are you turning to now in your free time?
Okay. We go hiking a lot. My boys are Cub Scouts, and so they have a competition going, who can get the most miles by the end of all this, and they take it very seriously. So any day with good weather, the parks are still open for hikes, that we definitely, I'm not a big hiker, but I go to support them, but definitely a lot more hiking these days.
Okay, hiking, what are y'all?
I think also it depends if you have the age of the children. I have 7 teenagers, so, and it's from 14 to 22. Yeah, so it's like most of the time they are on the phone or whatever, but I know that we have turned for cooking to cook food at home and everything, and I think that it's fun. It's fun. You just look what they are doing, what are the ingredients. Some are like only in rice and pasta. Some go in advance. YouTube is helping. So any time, yes.
Yeah, you know what? I actually wanted to talk about that too. That this time, like she said, during this time, COVID, it's not such a bad time. It is a bad time, but all things work together for good somehow. This is a very good time to teach children, because education is not just book and book and book and book. This is a great time to teach children even life skills at home. How do you iron a shirt? How do you make breakfast? How do you make dinner? How do you vacuum the house? How do you organize your stuff, your closets? So I actually have, out of my 3 children, I cook 1 day a week. How? I'm teaching my children right now to plan a meal. When we go grocery shopping, I say, I have taku, I have tari, I have tadiwa. You write the list of the 2 meals that you are going to make this week. They write everything. You know you have bought all your ingredients for the meals, for the 2 meals that you are going to cook this week. So my children are cooking here. My 11-year-old will make a meal, we'll sit down and we'll eat it. So this is a great time to teach children other things other than just the book. It's very important for our children to go to Harvard, but be able to clean themselves up, organize their room, take care of their children at home, because they are also going to be parents one day. So this is a great time to teach life skills that are very, very, very important in life.
That actually directly answers one of the questions where a parent was asking if I can use cooking or another household task to help my child learn. So you guys just answered that one. Yeah. Let's see. So another parent was asking if, I don't know who wants to take it, the educator or a parent, or parents, all of you are parents, if you can give an example of a schedule that you're using for your child at home or your children at home that they can try to model theirs after.
Okay. Basically, I think, as I was stating earlier with my schedule, we don't wake up too early. I do want them to have enough rest. And again, I do give them some time to themselves from the night before. But we wake up at 8 o'clock. I know they have classes at 10. So we'll wake up at 8 o'clock, eat breakfast by 9, start the class at 10, and we'll give them a snack in between, anywhere between anytime before lunch. After that, we will do the classwork with them. And I'm sorry, I wrote some notes. We'll do a classwork with them, and I will start on lunch like around maybe 12, 1 o'clock. It depends. Again, if they get a little hungry in between lunch and dinner, then we give them another snack. As I am letting them complete their work, let me see. I'm sorry. We are also, as I stated earlier as well, when I'm working at home, I have to give them something to occupy themselves so that I get a chance to do my work. I'll either have them read or do some extra work in the meantime. And just to keep them busy. And when I'm finished working, I will start dinner. And we do have fun time as well. Right after dinner, sometimes we'll do board games or we'll do hide and seek. I made sure to get them chocolate. My kids love sweets. So I made sure to get them chocolate, and we'll play a little hide and seek chocolate. So however many chocolates they'll get, how many chocolates they find, they get to keep a few of them and have it for themselves, just as you all said, to make it fun. And that's pretty much what my schedule looks like.
Thanks for sharing. I think that benefits some of our viewers. Yes, for the educators who are on, are you still working in your role as an educator outside of teaching your kids at home?
I don't know if she wants to answer, but I think that as a game creator, and I have some few also contract with some organization that are asking game online, because it's a time where all museums are closed, and they are asking like game online or how to have this, can you turn it to digital or stuff like that. So we are busy thinking that if we stay like that for one more month or two, we need to create digital material. Have many children, and that can help those organizations also to continue to showcase, their activities. So we are still working. So I create some game that I give to those organizations, and they put on the website too.
I am also doing virtual home visits now. Like I said, I learned how to work all these platforms in the last 30 days. So, working with infants and toddlers at home, I was so nervous, to be honest. I didn't know if like my observation skills would still be there. I was like kind of doubting myself. but my families are so awesome. It's been going really great. So we're continuing to do that. The contract I have is in DC, so all of early intervention has become virtual now. So all the providers are providing services virtually.
I think this question just came in. People are asking, since COVID might still be around in the fall, are you all planning to homeschool your children, or what are your plans?
I mean, I've always homeschooled, so this wasn't. The only difference for us was the closing of like museums and things like that, because a lot of their classes were outside of the home, and so I was thinking it would be very difficult for them. They would get cabin fever, but we do have a lot of material here, so they're just making good use of what we have here. So in the fall, I feel like because now there's a lot of like their Cub Scouts is virtual. I think they had a couple other virtual classes. They like everyone being homeschooled. Like they don't feel so different now. But our schedule will be the same in the fall either way.
Any other person wants to chime in?
I think for teenagers, we say no, school has to open. School has to open. The fridge is always empty. School has to open. So, open school.
I agree. I need to get back to work.
I guess the other question somebody was asking, I know some of you have mentioned it in passing, but how are you actively making sure that you're getting physical activity? Because that's something that was part of a class at school. Do you also have a phys ed class at home now in your schedules, or how is that working out?
Our school is actually putting it in their schedule. So the gym teacher, the PE teacher, actually has a time where they are given activities of what they are supposed to do. Okay. But yeah, also at home, in our home schedule, it's a requirement. You have to go outside for a given time. What you do there, I don't care, but you have to be outside for at least an hour. So if you want to go sit under a tree for an hour, that's up to you. You just have to be outside if it's not raining. So It's important for the children to go out there and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
For us, when they have physical education online, I'll have my younger daughter she'll do the exercise online with what they're watching with the video. So I'll have her follow along. Also, of course, we're all becoming couch potatoes. So we try to find some time in the evening after everyone's done with everything. This is also one of the fun activities that we'll do. We'll just put on some music and everybody, my mom, my husband, all the children will get up and start dancing to music.
That's awesome.
Great. How can the older children or older child help their younger siblings in the learning process? What are you all doing to kind of facilitate that?
That's a great question. So my kids are not too far apart. They're 7 and 10. What I actually do to help my 10-year-old practice some of his math facts, he goes and corrects my 7-year-old's work. So that's part of his job. So that helps him practice, and my younger one kind of sees his older brother as knowledgeable and can also go to him for questions as well.
Nice.
Mine are not helping each other. Each man for himself. Yeah, so I'm not the right person to answer that one. Everyone is busy with their own stuff. No one helps anybody. If anyone needs help, they come to mom or dad. So
Even try to pay, they say no, we don't want to do.
I'm busy too.
My 14-year-old is very helpful. She helps out with a lot around the house, but and yes, she does. She learned to she became a chef over this break. But yeah, she helps out a lot with the schoolwork. And as one of you mentioned as well, my 7 and 8-year-old, sometimes I'll have them do a spelling test. This is outside of their classwork. I'll have them do a spelling test, and they have to grade each other's work. So it kind of helps to keep them motivated and helps to, show them, hey, I can grade your work, and, be a part of each other and help each other out, basically.
So one final question that just came in is, how much do you all appreciate teachers now?
Love them. We love them.
Thank you, teachers.
We love them. Please.
We will be celebrating Teachers' Day.
Oh, sure.
Every day.
That's great. I think we've come to the end of our questions. I'll just give you all an opportunity to say any parting words that you have for our viewers before we.
I am so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to learn about the game, that African game. I really want to get connected, and I want to get that game for my children, and maybe for to give as prizes for Zivakwakava, because that's an excellent thing. It aligns so much with what we are doing. We are, the first thing we are is Africans. The first thing we are is Zimbabweans before we are immigrants here. So we really I'm really looking for anything and resources to stay connected to Africa, to stay connected to Zimbabwe, where we come from. And I am glad to be here. We have Zivakwakava. We have a camp coming in July, end of July, beginning of August, hopefully praying for this coronavirus to be gone by then. Our camp is going to be in Pennsylvania, and it's going to be 4 days of us Zimbabweans being together. We have a lot of children that have registered. It was going to be where I would like to actually thank, I'm the face of Zivakwakava, but Zivakwakava is run by 3 other women, Tsitsinema Tadzira, Judith Jamba, and Matilda Furusa. I thank you. And I am here standing for Zivakwakava, but there's a lot of work happening behind me. There are ladies that are working so hard for Zivakwakava and to bring Zimbabweans together, to have Zimbabwean children never forget their identity, their heritage. Who are we? We are in America. We are Zimbabweans in America. And that's what we want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and having our children accept that they are growing up in America, but they are Zimbabweans first. So I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to be part of Africa as it is now.
Thank you.
I will say to our viewers, be very patient. We will get through this. Just keep working at it. We'll all get through it. But patience is the main thing. That's pretty much it. Find a new hobby. Find a new hobby. Bake.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think if I have something to say, it's like we have to see the good sides also of having family time and having the time to do everything we have ever dreamed of doing as a family. So I think that the time that we will, if we don't use it wisely, we will regret. So it's why I think that I'm glad it happened some way. Because we have to learn. I have teenagers, I say, we have to learn who we are raising to. And, by staying at home with him, now you know a little bit who he is. So I'm glad for this time.
Great, thank you.
And I certainly piggyback off of Miss Paulette. Definitely get to know your kids. Definitely get to know. I mean, it's a good thing. They have some wonderful gifts, some great things they can contribute. Get to know that side of them, and like I said, I don't know when we're going to get this time again. So really get to know your kids. And again, share stories. If it's from a cultural perspective, share stories about when you grew up, if you grew up back home. Tell them about how it was for you when you went to school. It doesn't have to be a book story. It can be family literacy. Share about your own personal experiences with your children so they can get to know you as well. So this is just a great time for bonding and self-reflection. And so we got to use it wisely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I want to thank our guest again. We started with Ms. Ajasi, Fulani Women Association, North America. They were this week's local heroes making masks for our community. And then Mrs. Elena Bakasare, mother, wife, and worker and homeschooling parent, and Ms. Maimuna Mara, developmental therapist, for sharing your experience of homeschooling before the pandemic while still working. Then we'd like to thank Ms. Paulette Puma for telling us about the African Memory Game and how we can access it. We'd like to thank Ms. Amai Sibo for sharing your experiences as an educator and telling us about the Zero program. We really appreciate you all being here today and sharing all of your experiences. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And like our panelists said, we really appreciate all the teachers for the work that they are doing. But today is Nurses Day, so I cannot end the show without giving a special shout out to all of the nurses. I'm a nurse myself, so it's a big shout out to all of the nurses. And 2020 is the year of the nurse and the midwife, so I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the nurses on the front line for caring for us, our communities, our families, and the entire world. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. And to our viewers, thank you so much for sharing this time with us and coming and having these discussions. Looking forward to you joining us again next week for more discussions. And thank you all. And over to you, Alan.
Thank you so much, Manka. Thank you so much, Dr. Manka. It was very great discussion. And I think you share a lot of useful information that our viewers can use. Of course, thank you so much, Immigrant Community Service. They do a lot of job, and if you want, just support that non-profit organization, just donate, or if you want also to participate to any show, contact that organization. My name is Alain Pierre and you're watching Afrique Today. A lot of people ask me how to watch Afrique Today. It's very simple. You can just watch Afrique Today directly on 4 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our website www.afriquetoday.com. Support Afrique Today. Download our app. We have app for Android, for iPhone, for Roku TV, and Amazon Fire Stick. Thank you so much. Have a good evening and see you next time. Bye.